The Cultural Commission meeting for January 27th, 2024 is called to order at 5:30 p.m. Would Director Miranda please call roll?
Yes. Chair Hernandez.
Here.
Commissioner DA.
Here.
Commissioner Frazier.
Here.
Commissioner Damiana.
Present.
Commissioner Tozer.
Here.
Commissioner Bertnicki. Commissioner Einberg.
We have a quorum. One moment while I write some notes. Are there any additions or removals for today's agenda? Commissioner Tozer.
Thank you. I'd just like to add an item just to discuss moving meetings one time a month rather than two.
Okay, I will add that as item I on our agenda. Do I have a second for that? Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against, say nay. Motion passes. We'll go ahead and add that on there. Please remind me if I forget.
Yeah.
I'd like to move that we excuse, or put on the agenda to excuse, Commissioners Bertnicki and.
Okay, we don't actually need to do it as the agenda. We can do it as part of the attendance that we just did.
Oh, yeah.
So I second that motion, and all in favor of excusing their absences, say aye. Aye. All against, say nay.
Question, do we know where they are?
I did not receive any notification, so they might just be running late.
And if they show up, we won't consider them absent. Awesome. We do not have minutes at this point, so we will skip item D. Staff announcements. Are there any staff announcements for today's meeting?
None at this time.
None at this time. We're moving fast. Is there any public comment for this meeting? It does not appear so. Anyone online?
We don't take online.
Oh, online. That's 2024 thinking, Jen. 2025.
The future. That I mean.
So existing business.
Oh.
Here they are. We will wait for that till they get here. No, you're here. That's what matters.
I'm not sure she's here.
Are you here for public comment by any chance?
Pardon?
Are you here for public comment?
Here. Find out who's here and why they're here and what's going on.
Okay.
It's a new year.
Yeah, we started.
Okay.
We're all the way up to existing business. I'll go ahead and just do this out of lightness. Do you have any items to add to the agenda? Okay, awesome. Just want to make sure because that was a big question. Existing business, the Cultural Commission bylaws. Has anyone actually had a chance to look them over? I know we tabled them to this meeting because we all weren't here, and Wendy is still not here. So I'm not sure if we want to table this for another meeting or if we want to go ahead and start discussing it now.
I started, well, I got through the Kirkland Commission bylaws, but then things happened, so I wasn't able to read everything.
Okay.
But it seems fairly straightforward, or rather short, really, at least as far as Kirkland is concerned. Just how we do business and setting it out. Is that the kind of thing that where is my brain today? Our facilitator, now, is that the kind of thing that she was going to draft? Like a draft copy, and we were going to discuss from there?
So my understanding on how the bylaws are going to work is that basically we are going to create what we want for the bylaw
From scratch.
from scratch. In fact, oh yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say staff can draft bylaws for you, and then you guys can go through them, take away whatever you'd like. So
Yeah, I was assuming it was like the last one we did where we came up with ideas and then staff would draft up a version.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
And in fact, I kind of have an idea moving forward that we could also do even with Commissioner Wendy, whose name I can't remember, her last name right off. Einberg. Commissioner Einberg. The vacation has done a number on that.
It's been a while since we've seen.
Yeah, it's been a while. I have a way that we can move forward on this, even though she's not here right now, where she can still contribute. We just need to let her know what we're doing. But first, I want to have any other discussion on this before I start going into this.
I guess just my 2 cents, the bylaws, it's all fine. I'd like to see us at least as standardized as possible, so at least the one that's already from Duvall with planning commission, I think we should use to try to mimic as much as possible.
That's absolutely.
Rather than go with a whole different city's bylaws, so. My 2 cents.
That's actually a great idea, because one of the things I'd like us to do for the next meeting is to actually read all three of these, the different bylaws. Pull out ideas and things that you want to see in our bylaws, and that can include just basically saying, we're gonna use this as a basis for creating other stuff. Once we have that, we all vote on the different items that we want in there, and that can be, we put everything in there, or we can say, we don't want this, we don't want that at the next meeting. And then once we have those core sets, we could hand them over to staff to actually create those bylaws from there. All we have to do is make sure that Commissioner Einberg knows what we're doing, how we're doing it, and to give us her feedback when she has a chance.
Probably best.
So this one looks like it's going to be pretty quick unless anyone else has discussion on it. I would just suggest we all read everything, pull out what we want, bring it to the next meeting, we'll discuss it there. And then we will standardize it down to what we can give to staff to actually make our bylaws.
Might be easier to cross out things we don't like.
That's true too. That's true too. We can vote for and against stuff in the next meeting too as well. Anything further on this? This is gonna be a really quick meeting. New business, Brainworks feedback, community feedback. Do we have any information on what the community wants to see as our Brainworks?
Quote, we are excited for this project. This looks amazing. Quote, my vote would be for games, dance steps, and mazes versus slogans. Make them interactive. What a fun idea. Haiku written by local kids. And no thanks. Although
Does he want no thanks as one of the stencils?
I think so.
propose it, no thanks.
So,
Give thanks for the knockout.
Director Murray.
so these comments were what was available when I did the packet. I think since then, there's been a couple more comments that were added, so if you want to go back to those posts on social media, and then Commissioner Tozer also sent some ideas over, so if I can.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and look at your ideas, and then we'll go around the table for specific ideas from all the other commissioners as well.
All right.
I know.
Yep. Isn't that so much easier? Okay, so these are from Commissioner Tozer.
I like the playing the puddles one.
Yeah, playing the puddles was the funny end of that. The cats and dogs thing, I kept feeling we should just have like just cats and dogs that show up. It doesn't have to have language to it, but that was my thought process anyway.
Oh, the maze is good.
Yeah, the maze is actually neat.
Oh yeah, it's like a scavenger hunt thingy.
Like that one. Those are actually really awesome.
I'm not married to any of those. I just thought that it was, I looked at some ideas, actually looking at the comments and looking back. Like, oh, there's gonna be a lot here.
Let's go down the line. Commissioner Bernicki, do you have any additions to what we might want to put up there?
I think I can see like a line from like a poem.
Any in particular?
No, well, the earth is always my favorite, but I think community is something nature oriented.
Things like that. Commissioner Damiana?
I'll just read my notes. Quote, a friend in all weathers, tic-tac-toe, hopscotch, spiral with a meditation prompt, dance steps, troll footprints, Sasquatch footprints, unicorn footprints.
I like this.
But I want all the imaginary creatures, but we could also do local wildlife footprints, cougars, bobcats, coyotes, wolves, raccoons, salamanders, otters, deers, osprey, goose. Pictures telling the story of Snowfall, the moon, and how we became the Valley of the Moon. Singing in the Rain lyrics and dance steps by the clock in front of City Hall. Apparently, I like that idea. Pluviophile and petrichor definitions in front of the library.
Oh, yeah.
I like petrichor. That's actually real. I know that.
The human body is about 60% water. Forgot your umbrella, now you're 60.5% water. Fruity fingers were an evolutionary advantage once upon a time. And then for locations, I had Maintenance Stevens, 142nd to 82nd, which is the bus stop at Duvall Highlands. Judd Park, Skate Park, right out front here and in front of City Hall.
That's a lot of stuff. That's awesome. No, it's awesome. Though.
I'm laughing. These are my partial notes because my real notes are elsewhere. So there you go.
That's awesome. Commissioner Gay.
I just want to make sure that the giraffe hopscotch gets on the thing. Yes.
When you pop up the neck.
Commissioner Frazier.
I also wanted to do poetry, but from my favorite creepy poem. Morning and evening, maids heard the goblins cry, come buy our orchard fruits, come buy, come buy.
Nice.
We just have such a surreal little slice of the world here in the valley.
That actually is like just weird enough to be Duvall.
Yeah.
I like that.
We can put it back first.
Anything further? Any other suggestions before I give mine, which I only have two? So I have two, and I'm very specific about these. I would love to see these somewhere where children can see them, or particularly young adults, high school bus stops. I want to see the words "You matter," "You belong." I want to see that somewhere, mainly because as someone who had a somewhat traumatic high school years, I know that those are the roughest times that kids have, and they need to know that they matter and that they belong here. And I want to have that someplace, preferably around the school would be great. Bus stop would be better, or not better, but bus stop would be acceptable. So those,
have multiples.
yeah, we could do that in multiple
Could be
places.
everywhere.
Some time ago, Redmond, during the pandemic, Redmond was putting up, someone randomly was putting up signs that said that, and it really sang to me. And I was like, that needs to happen here on a more permanent basis. Suggestions for our suggestions. What I would actually suggest is that we collate our suggestions. And I don't want to put too much stress on staff, so let me know if this is a possible thing we can do. Have them sent to staff to categorize them so that we don't have doubles and triples of the same thing. And then we can all vote on priority, not like we don't want these, but like we're not going to be able to make, yeah, like one of those, the dot polls there. Because we're not going to be able to do all of them, but we can at least choose the ones that are the most important ones to have out there.
Yeah.
And then we can vote on those on our next meeting and get those moving along.
Do we want to make just a Google document or something like that to collect all of them in one place?
That's kind of what I was going to say by sending it to staff, because the staff would be able to give us that document at the end, at the next meeting.
Okay.
Other items too that were part of this were locations. I just had general locations of school bus stops, not just in downtown, but all over. Heavily trafficked walkways, 3rd Avenue would be a great place to have them. Stella and Stephen Street.
Dinosaur footprints.
Dinosaur footprints would be awesome. Giraffe footprints would be better.
Because they have the dinosaurs.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Oh, yes, the dinosaur walk. Unofficial, but we endorse
I like the idea that the dinosaurs come by and check the dinosaur wall.
it. Yes, that would be awesome.
There's a 5-year-old that lives in that house, and that would blow his mind.
But we could do the same with that, like give staff a list of locations, have them categorized, we vote on them. Because again, we can't put them everywhere, but we can at least prioritize where we are going to put them. If that's good to go, I don't know if I need to make a motion for that.
Do we have any like strong preferences as far as what do we wanna do? 2 images, 2 phrases, 2 games, I mean, do we have any thought process along that route that we wanna focus on, or?
That's actually a good idea.
How many Luke?
Yeah.
Well, I think what we
We've
need
been
to
talking about 8.
Director Moreno.
So just keep in mind that the budget, I believe, was $2,000 for this project, and then I believe. Commissioner Rudnicki had offered to help cut the stencils, so just keeping in mind, buying enough product to make a bit, however big these are, how. Figuring out how much product we would need, what supplies we would need to purchase, and.
In that case, I would suggest we do the same thing that we're doing with what we want to have on there. Well. Yeah, like how prioritize games. Images, quotes. And then from there, we find out how many we can actually afford to do and then prioritize that way. And we can do that once we know what we're doing. If for some reason everyone likes games and doesn't like quotes, we do them all games and quotes, or we do them by halves or stacked order, 10 of these, 5 of these, 2 of these.
And I'd imagine the hope is this is scalable, and once we have a handful of ideas banked, we can work on book time.
Yeah, once we did a couple of stencils, we have those stencils for a while.
Right.
So I imagine that we could have like a work party.
Mhm.
And we can all come in with our X-Acto knives and self-healing.
I think that would actually be a neat idea that we all.
I have extra.
One of the nice things I like about our Duvall mural project is that we're all going to get involved, the whole community. We could conceivably do that again, but just say,
Well, this
here's the stencil that you're going to have to work with
this might be
versus.
a little specified for
Yeah,
all.
That's true, that's true. Might be something that we do ourselves.
We could do it. Yeah.
So I would suggest that we do that. I don't believe I need to make a motion for that. We can just do it and then the motion will come when we finally accept the final listings and everything. So
So will we upload our ideas to a shared doc?
But if you just want to email me your ideas, and then I will compile them into a document.
Gotcha.
Okay, let me
Well,
just.
one of these.
Is there anything further?
I somehow had it in my mind that we were gonna be talking about big ideas. Like there was some $25,000 to $150,000 grant from maybe the NY, can't remember. And we were supposed to come with a list of big ideas.
You
weren't here.
I wasn't here and I crammed that meeting at the last minute, so I wasn't here for it. Does anyone else remember that this was going to happen? Cause it's not on the agenda.
National endowment.
Yeah.
For the arts, 25 to 100,000. Was discussed, we discussed it, I don't know if there was a discussion point.
Nothing actionable.
Reading those.
Oh, yes. Very
Uh,
We need you to sit over here so I can see everyone.
No, Commissioner Bernicki just pretty much said what it was. The commission was asked to come back with 2 ideas. The minimum spend was 25,000, I believe was. And yeah, so if you had any ideas to just share them with staff so that they could add them to the list.
Okay. If we all have them, I can actually add an agenda item where we can discuss it today, or we can just also table that for the next meeting when we will all have something for that.
What was the timeliness on that?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I don't have that down. That would be a Cynthia question.
I know Cynthia mentioned, like, we talked about like the troll thing, right? We can't get one of those trolls, but maybe we can get some other kind of a signature sculpture thing.
I didn't hear anything about timeliness on there, but I know that there's probably a time limit on when you can apply for those grants. But if we don't have ideas, we don't have a way to start.
I was really for the troll. The smaller troll.
Then do we want to add an agenda item for this after the next schedule and actually just sit and discuss now what we can do just right off the top of our head? I can make a motion to amend the agenda.
Some better than nothing ideas.
Yeah. So yeah, I move to add another agenda item, item J, to discuss the big ticket items. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All against, say nay. All right, big ticket items.
I would volunteer to go first since I have my,
Well, we got one more item before that.
oh,
This is the next one.
gotcha.
So the next item, I will let Commissioner Tozer take the lead on this because he is asking for a change in our schedule cadence.
Yeah, thank you. And again, it can be reasonably simple. It doesn't have to be next meeting or even the meeting after that, but I think ultimately. It would make sense for us to go to a monthly calendar and schedule rather than every 2 weeks or whatever it is. So, I mean, we skipped 2 months here at the end of the year, and so again, I think that sort of helps prove that again we've accomplished a lot of time, and I think that we need to be able to ebb and flow, right? So if we're in the middle of something or we're trying to make some decisions, maybe it does make sense to continue this, but I think that you can accomplish additional meetings through motion just as well. So just something to consider. Again, I think 2 weeks is the expectation forever is not 2 weeks, I understand, but you guys.
Discussion.
Yeah.
Assuming you're done.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think in regards to maximizing the efficiency of staff it's a good idea. But of course, if there's something that, is a lot very detailed where we need further movement on it we have deadlines, we can always say we need to meet even the following week versus waiting 2 weeks. Because all the big things we had to get done did happen, and I think we could also extend our meeting a little longer to accommodate more things on our agenda. And I think that will help the staff has to come set up everything.
Right.
So I think that might be a good idea.
Do you have a cadence specific specialty, or is it just as needed?
I would say once a month for sure, definitely. But then, of course, with the flexibility to add other meetings in the event that we have some things that are very time sensitive or need extra work. And sometimes some of the big things, like, you have a big ticket item or like the idea I had about the hive, we could even workshop that. And something like that, can we reserve a workshop where it's 3 hours or half a day, and then we can get through all of that, get it done, and get it maximizes for staff.
Any further discussion?
I agree with these two.
Sorry?
I agree with these two. I think monthly was a good idea with the understanding that we can add it.
Commissioners Gay, Fisher.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so just move to monthly. I will give my notes on this. I'm a little concerned about that. One of the things that I have worked with staff is that they will contact me when there's not enough work, and we've canceled meetings for that. Also, we were at the beginning of our new budget, and we've got a lot coming down the line that's going to need to be done. Not quickly, but studiously. So we would actually need to do it. I, for one, would not want to go to a monthly schedule. What I would rather do is cancel meetings that we don't need to be at. And I believe we could cancel up to 24 hours in advance, or was it 48 hours? The public needs to know. Actually, I think that's a state law now that I think about it. That's my thinking on the matter, is that we can cancel meetings.
We're splitting hairs, really?
Yeah. It depends on the cadence. We could go to monthly meetings that are longer and deal with more issues, because I mean, this meeting is going to be a 30-minute meeting as it is. So I would like to wait until Commissioner Einberg's here to vote on this, but I have a feeling that even with her vote, if it was my vote, I'm gonna lose this one. So I will actually, if you want to do this, create a motion to move our cadence to once a month, with the caveat that we have a meeting 2 weeks from now, just because we're setting all this up for 2 weeks from now. That would be the first of our monthly meetings.
I can go so far if you prefer, we could do 2 meetings in February, start March, with the March ones, if that's what you guys.
I also would like to have the ability to, if we need to make a double month, to go ahead and do that as well. Not even a triple month if things get really bad.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we set it up so that our cadence is second Monday every month. And then we have an item at the bottom of the schedule that where we decide to need another 2 weeks.
That actually sounds like a great idea, where we decide, are we gonna do another meeting in 2 weeks, or are we gonna do another meeting? That sounds good. I like that. I like that.
Put that on the agenda so it's always there.
Okay, smart.
In that case,
Whole lot of them.
in that case, I'll make a motion to amend our schedule, the schedule of the Duvall Cultural Commission to once a month. On the first Monday of every month, or second Monday of every month, sorry, second Monday of every month. With an agenda item at the end of every meeting of us, of changing the cadence of the next meeting, either shorter or longer. Do I have a second on that?
Yeah, hold on one second, I just wanna make sure I get it right. So
Oh, no
your
problem.
meeting's scheduled to once a month. And then,
With the caveat that an agenda item is added at the end of every meeting to determine if another meeting is necessary in 2 weeks. All in favor, say aye. All against, say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
I thought it was a big compromise.
Actually, it does work out. I'm just a big believer that we have a lot on our plate. I would rather just close meetings, but that, like you said, that's splitting hairs. Anything further on this issue? All right, the big ticket items. So I have no notes on this, mainly because I saw it at the end of the meeting. I was crammed to get here on time. I did not look at it, so I believe you all had discussed it. I will just open it up to open discussion for you all. On how you wanted to handle that.
Sure, I had a couple of ideas. I would love to see, as someone who studied film and video production, and a little bit of music, I would love to see a community focused film school and film production unit right here in Duvall. We're beautiful. We've got so many people who are so creative. We've got so many students who could make, I believe, truly remarkable film and video projects. I would like to see this accessible. I would like free classes, free studio space. It could conceivably be set up here. Equipment is getting less and less expensive. So we could get, prosumer type equipment at a reasonable cost. We could borrow instructors from Seattle Film School. We could have locals do, small classes, teach people how to use the equipment, and also help mentor youth or people who want to come in. We've got the radio station here in the Valley, which is great. But I would love to see a film school / studio and also a music studio. I personally know really talented young musicians who would be recording if they had the space and the equipment. And I personally like a space too, rather than my silly little home setup. So those are the two things. Also, I still believe that is it an Archimedes lab? No. Anyway, it's one of those big towers where it's open on the top so we can see the stars in the daytime. Call me a dreamer. It'll be beautiful.
Well, these are all items that we can just pass along and see if they're doable with staff.
Yeah.
Any other suggestions, Commissioner Nikki?
So being youth centric, I was thinking in terms of like a youth arts festival, how they have the Children's Art Festival in Seattle, but this would be a youth version, but it would be open to all youth anywhere who could come. So it would be definitely good for economic development. But, when you look at the arts, performing art, musical, visual arts, film, kids don't really have a lot of stuff for them to participate in. We give a lot to sports, but we forget about those other areas. And I'd like to see a festival where we would invite from anywhere youth to come. You could perform, we'd have a battle of the bands, we'd have visual arts on display and even maybe for sale by these young people. And I think that would facilitate a wonderful opportunity for our city to be known as this place where we support the arts, and especially for youth. And it gives them a place to share and participate with their talents and skills. So, you know, our version of our Super Bowl.
I actually really like that because one of the things that came up that I did notice in the last meeting was that they mentioned the Bubble Festival, which was attributed to me. It was actually not my idea. It was your idea. It was Commissioner Damiana's idea. One of the things that I'm big in is I want a festival for all of our ages. We currently have the not summer, well, summer stage is an adult one, which I really like. There's also the one we just had, Light Up Duvall, which tends to gravitate more towards the young adult slash teen slash high schoolers. It's a late night thing, but it still closes early. You've got the farm animals for the younger ones, and you've got the crafts for the older, but we don't really have anything for the young ones. And the Bubble Festival, which is what I was saying, would be perfect for that if we just expanded it out to something a little bit more arts oriented. Instead of being a bubble festival, it's an arts festival that involves bubbles or as one of the keys. And that was something that I would like to have for our kids, because one of the things that we had with Light Up Duvall that I really liked was we had the Santa Claus area in the depot where the kids could actually take pictures and such. But once they were done there really wasn't anything for the kids to do. It was mostly for the adults and the young adults. Having something that's just kid-centric would be amazing. I would be very, very, very for that.
Do you have information on the actual grant? Does it have to be? Because my worry is that we're thinking of ideas of things to have that are tangential to art, like doing art, but not the art itself. I'm worried that the grant is for an art installation.
I think I'm on the grant page, and I mean, it seems to be pretty open-ended. I mean, there's application instructions for a dozen plus categories: visual arts, theater, museum, music, literary arts, film and media. I mean, there seems like there's
Nice.
guidelines for.
Okay, then I would like to put in for a makerspace, which is full functional.
We actually do have one. We have one here.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's right over here. It's,
With the art center,
yeah,
but is that a makerspace?
last when I went there, it seemed to be. It wasn't just like arts, it was people making stuff, it was people drawing stuff, it was people painting.
Oh, a makerspace.
Makerspace largely has things that are too expensive for generally people to own themselves.
Oh.
Like 3D printers.
Like or require, certain things. So
Oh,
like you get power tools, you get 3D printers, you get
Video equipment.
yeah.
Like Kinko's for people who don't have printers.
Yeah.
That's a neat idea. I always thought a makerspace was just where you sat down and made.
No,
It's a specialized space for learning how to use new tools, develop new skills, and have people on hand who are trained to use all of it.
yeah, lathes.
Yeah, expensive stuff.
I know it's not the wet blanket thing, but I know that the further the more complicated, the more people you involve, the more difficult it is to do. So when you buy a thing, or you commission a thing, it's pretty easy to pay for the thing. But if you're tracking performance over time and deliverables and number of participants and criteria that they match, I mean, it gets to be.
Yeah.
You have X amount of money.
complicated. Yeah.
X amount of money, and you can spend it on 10 things, or you can spend it on 100 things, but you have an X amount of money.
The problem with a school or makerspace is someone has to administer it, right?
Yeah.
Someone has to be there to make sure people are doing things safely and making sure things get checked in and checked out correctly, and that's a salary.
Yeah.
So you always have to worry about that.
Yeah, not knowing enough, because again, there just looks like there's a lot in here, so it'd be really impossible to speak with any authority on it, but.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Frazier?
This is gonna sound really boring, but for an art installation, everybody's doing trolls. And it's a little overplayed, and we have a fairly big Eastern European population here in the city. I wanna get a Baba Yaga hut. I think that would be fantastic.
That
It's,
is really cool.
it's colorful and weird and
And we
it
could do
honors a
our
lot of.
footprints.
Hmm?
We could do.
Oh, yeah.
footprints in the rain.
Three-legged,
The chicken.
Literally the chicken's legged hut.
Yeah. Anything that really just makes Duvall stand out, which is my polite way of saying anything that makes Duvall weird.
Yeah.
I'm 100% for, so yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, at least my 2 cents, for what I would like to see. I mean, there's tons of great ideas. I just like a signature thing. Yeah, it could be Baba Yaga, it could be Troll, it could be Draft, I don't care, but it's something at scale and large and interactive. That
This is Duvall.
consumes the money, that gives us something that is unique. That I don't really care what the thing is per se.
Basically like a trademark for Duvall, like this is Duvall kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think there's been a lot over the past, there's been a lot of things we've looked at, we've wanted to do, but budget's always been a thing. So we haven't really necessarily hit the dream big thing. We did planks that were affordable, we did sculptures that were affordable. But then we cut sometimes on things that were a little bit above where we're comfortable. So good, and this might be one of those opportunities to look at something that's more signature.
And a Baba Yaga hut could also be made as a play structure.
those things too.
I feel like inviting children into Baba Yaga's hut is dangerous.
We could also make it as part of like a children's festival, right? Where that's where you go for your bubbles / potions. That's, I don't know, but it could. I think it's a lovely idea.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome, actually. Anything further?
I just was gonna say that, I thought of that because, you know, when we did the invitation to the youth and they all came out, and were really excited to participate. And I thought, oh, you know, that's a good sign. So,
Yeah.
and I thought, what if we opened it to children everywhere?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I like that too.
So,
One of the nice things,
Destination.
one of the nice things too is that a youth festival can incorporate several of these things.
yeah.
And we could actually make that part of it as well.
Mhm.
What I'm gonna suggest, and I really don't like doing this because it sounds like I'm just pushing everything off to the next meeting. But what we can do is the same thing here, where we collate ideas, send them to staff, have them categorized, we vote on them. And then we go and say, hey, this is what we want to push our grant money, will this work? And this way we'll also have a stacked order of, if they say, no, you can't have this, we can go down to the next one, how about this? How about this? How about this? And that way, we're probably going to get a grant on something that we want, whether or not they are willing to give the money to one of our other projects or not. Does that sound good for everyone? Okay, awesome. So we got a little bit of homework for the next meeting. That will,
Which will be.
which will be in 2 weeks, this next meeting. I'm sorry, staff, I'm making you do a lot of work on this. It is appreciated as always. So anything further? We'll move on to, does anyone have anything for the good of the order this evening?
I have something. Earlier today, I got a acceptance letter that one of my poems is going to be in the. Oh, I can't remember what it is. Anyway, one of my poems. is going to be
Congratulations
in
for
the-
whatever it was.
Thank you, yeah. Such a huge deal. I got the email and I was like, yay, and I was like, oh, what was that? That was this morning.
If there's nothing else, I just have one thing to say. This is my first meeting of the new year, since I was sick the last one. That was a month. I just wanted to say that I was really proud of everyone who's worked on it, staff, the commissioners, everything. We got a lot of stuff done in 2024. We didn't get everything we needed to do right away. There was some bumps in the road that we had to smooth out. There was a lot of trying to figure out how to work together. And we did. And we've got a lot of stuff. We're not seeing a whole bunch of it right now, but it is coming and it's ready to go. I just wanted to say thank y'all. Y'all did a great job, and I'm very happy with what we've done and what we're going to do. And here's to another 2 years, or they kick us out.
Well, thank you. You did a great job leading us through it.
I appreciate that. This is first time hired for that. If there's nothing further, I'm going to call the Cultural Commission meeting.
May I say something? Sorry, but I didn't know your procedures and I don't know most of you, but I would like to put something for you to think about.
We do have a podium. You're welcome to stand at it. Give a speech.
I don't need, can I just stand here?
Sure.
I don't need to, speak, have a speech, but there's a need in the arts community. There's a lot of little organizations and there's a need for a central calendar. And so, you're the obvious, place to do that, and because that's what you're supposed to do is support arts organizations in this town. And so, it would really help them work together when they know that somebody is doing this, then at certain time, so if it could be posted in a central place, kind of like the chamber does for the business kinds of things. The arts community has that need.
Are you with the event?
I'm,
May I
yes,
ask,
and I'm also with the March of the Vegetables
Oh.
and Rotary.
may I ask your name?
I'm Lynn McBride, I'm sorry.
Brian, lovely to meet you.
Thank you, Lin. So Diane and I go way back.
Idea, what I would actually suggest is at our next meeting, again, putting things off to the next. Have a representative come up for public comment on that. And we can even possibly start considering talking about creating that.
Wendy is one of our board members and she didn't come tonight, and so
She could do that as well.
she could do that as well.
Yeah, she could add it to our.
But if you
agenda.
could, put it in your own agenda, that would be great. Okay,
We'll do that.
okay, thank you. I hope to get to know the rest of you.
Do you have a list handy of the various arts organizations here in Duvall? We've been trying to make those inroads, but,
I can put one together.
we would love that.
Okay.
Thank you so
How,
much.
how do I get that to you?
If you want to email it to Rita.
To Rita?
Or
Okay.
we have the Arts Commission. The Art Commission has a page on the Duvall City website that has all of our email addresses.
I
Okay,
was gonna say, I don't have my wallet on me. I have cards with me.
We'd be happy to start putting something like that together.
I think it's actually a really good idea to actually have a central, we're gonna do this here. I'm so sorry. I usually have my business cards.
That's right.
Oh, right, I really should have brought those.
I
I think the last place I could need them is the commission.
Then if that's everything, the cultural commission meeting for January 27th, 2025 is adjourned at 6:13 PM. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.